The steel chair connects with Bronson Reed's skull and the entire arena goes silent. Not quiet. Silent. Dead silent. Because nobody, and I mean nobody, saw this coming. Bron Breakker stands over his former ally, his former brother, his former partner with that chair raised high above his head, and the look on his face isn't remorse. It isn't confusion. It's pure, calculated rage. And as Bronson Reed crumbles to the mat, blood already starting to trickle down his forehead, the reality hits everyone at once. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't a heat-of-the-moment decision. This was planned. This was personal. And the brotherhood that dominated Raw for months, that destroyed everyone in their path, that seemed absolutely unbreakable, just shattered into a million pieces right before our eyes. But here's the thing that nobody's talking about yet. Here's the detail that makes this so much worse. Bronson Reed never saw it coming. He trusted Bron completely. And that trust just cost him everything. Smash that like button right now, because what I'm about to break down is going to change everything you thought you knew about this situation. Drop a comment telling me if you saw any signs of this betrayal coming, and share this video immediately, because the wrestling world is absolutely exploding right now and everyone needs to understand what really happened tonight. And look, I know everyone asks for subscriptions, and I know it can feel like just another channel begging for numbers. But here's the truth: Ring Rumble is built by fans who actually care about the real stories behind the headlines. We dig deeper. We find the details everyone else misses. We're not here for clickbait or hot takes that disappear tomorrow. We're building something genuine, and if that resonates with you, if you want to be part of a community that treats wrestling with the respect it deserves, then subscribe. Not because you have to, but because you want to be part of something meaningful. Now let's get into the carnage. The night started normally. Well, as normal as things get when Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed are involved. These two had been on an absolute tear through the Raw roster. They weren't just winning matches, they were ending careers. They were sending people home in ambulances. They were creating a path of destruction so complete that Adam Pearce was running out of teams willing to face them. The Usos? Dismantled. Alpha Academy? Destroyed. Every single tag team division hopeful? Crushed under the combined weight and power of two men who seemed genetically engineered to inflict punishment. Bron Breakker, the second-generation superstar with Steiner blood running through his veins, bringing that amateur wrestling base and that explosive power. Bronson Reed, the colossal, the tsunami, 550 pounds of devastating force who moves like he weighs half that. Together, they were unstoppable. They were inevitable. They were the future of Raw's tag team division and everyone knew it. But if you go back and watch, and trust me, I've watched this footage 20 times since it happened, there were signs. Tiny fractures in the foundation that nobody wanted to acknowledge because we were all so caught up in the dominance. 3 weeks ago, Bron got the pinfall victory in their match against the Creed brothers. Bronson was in position to finish it. He had Julius Creed up for the tsunami, but Bron tagged himself in and hit a spear for the 3 count. At the time, we all thought it was just good tag team wrestling. Strategic. Smart. But watch Bronson's face after that pin. Watch how his celebration seems just a half-second delayed. Watch how he looks at Bron with something that might have been confusion, or frustration, or the first seed of doubt. 2 weeks ago, they're doing a backstage interview with Kathy Kelly. She asks them about their chemistry, about what makes them work so well together. Bron answers first, talking about dominance, talking about legacy, talking about the Steiner name and what it means to carry that forward. And then, almost as an afterthought, he mentions Bronson. And having this big man to back me up doesn't hurt either. To back him up. Not to partner with. Not to stand beside. To back him up. Like Bronson was his enforcer instead of his equal. Bronson's jaw tightened when he heard that. His smile stayed plastered on for the cameras, but his eyes went cold for just a moment. We all missed it. We were too busy being entertained to see the resentment building. Last week was the breaking point, we just didn't know it yet. They faced off against the New Day in what was supposed to be a tune-up match before a potential championship opportunity. And something went wrong. Bronson went for the tsunami off the top rope on Kofi Kingston, but Bron was supposed to keep Xavier Woods occupied outside the ring. Except Bron didn't. He was showboating to the crowd, flexing, soaking in chants of Steiner. Steiner, while Xavier recovered and shoved Bronson off the top rope. They lost that match. Their first loss as a team. And when the bell rang, when reality set in, Bron didn't check on his partner. He didn't help Bronson up. He stood there, staring at him with an expression that could have melted steel. And Bronson stared back, breathing hard, clearly thinking the same thing everyone watching at home was thinking: that loss was Bron's fault. The tension in their locker room after that match must have been suffocating. Nobody from Raw's backstage crew would talk on record, but sources told me that furniture got thrown. Voices were raised. Adam Pearce had to get involved. But whatever was said behind closed doors, both men walked out separately and nobody saw them together for the rest of the night. The brotherhood was cracking. We could all feel it. But a betrayal of this magnitude? Nobody predicted this level of violence. Tonight was supposed to be their redemption. Adam Pearce scheduled them against the Alpha Academy in a rematch from a month ago when Bron and Bronson had won in under 4 minutes. This was supposed to be an easy victory to get them back on track, to rebuild momentum, to show the Raw roster that one loss meant nothing. The match went exactly as expected at first. Bron and Bronson were in complete sync, hitting their signature double team moves, throwing Otis and Akira Tozawa around the ring like children. The crowd was into it. Commentary was putting them over. Everything seemed fine. Everything seemed normal. Bron tagged in Bronson for what should have been the finish. Bronson climbed to the top rope, the crowd rising with him because everyone knows when the tsunami hits, the match is over. He launched himself into the air, 550 pounds of destruction aimed at Otis, and he connected perfectly. The ring shook. The impact echoed through the arena. Bronson covered for the pin. The referee counted 1, 2, and then Bron Breakker pulled the referee out of the ring, just yanked him out by his ankle. The crowd gasped. Commentary fell silent. Even Bronson froze for a second, trying to process what just happened. Why would his partner stop the match? Why would Bron cost them the victory again? Bronson rolled out of the ring. You could see him asking Bron, "What are you doing?" He wasn't angry yet. He was confused, trying to understand, still believing there had to be a logical explanation, still trusting his brother. And that's when Bron's expression changed. That's when the mask came off. That's when we all saw the truth that had probably been there for weeks. Pure hatred. Bron looked at Bronson Reed like he was looking at everything wrong with his career, like Bronson represented every second of spotlight that Bron felt he deserved alone. The chair shot came from nowhere. Bron grabbed it from the timekeeper's area and swung with every ounce of strength in that Steiner body. The sound of steel meeting skull echoed through the arena like a gunshot. Bronson went down hard, and Bron didn't stop. He hit him again, and again, and again. Each chair shot more vicious than the last, each impact more sickening. Security rushed out but Bron threw them aside like they were nothing. Referees tried to intervene and Bron shoved them away. He was a man possessed. He was a man who had been holding back something dark and violent and now it was all pouring out at once. He wasn't just attacking Bronson Reed, he was trying to end him. The chair shots targeted Bronson's leg, the same leg that he uses to launch himself off the top rope. Then his back. Then his ribs. Systematic. Methodical. This wasn't blind rage. This was calculated destruction designed to take away everything that made Bronson Reed dangerous. Finally, after what felt like hours but was probably 30 seconds, a full security team managed to pull Bron away. He was screaming something, the microphones couldn't pick it all up, but lip readers online are saying he shouted, "This is my show. My legacy. Not yours," over and over. My show. My legacy. Not ours. Not the team. Mine. Bronson Reed lay motionless in the center of the ring while EMTs rushed down the ramp. Blood was pouring from a gash on his forehead. His leg was bent at an angle that made everyone watching sick. His breathing was labored. And as they loaded him onto a stretcher, as the entire arena chanted Bronson, Bronson in support, Bron Breakker stood at the top of the ramp watching with absolutely no remorse on his face. No regret. No second thoughts. He raised his arms in victory like he had just won the WWE Championship, like he had just accomplished something great. The crowd rained down boos so loud you could barely hear yourself think, and Bron smiled through it all. But here's what makes this even more disturbing. Here's the layer to this story that nobody's addressing yet. Sources close to the situation told me that Bron went to management 3 days ago. He requested a singles push. He said he was done with the tag team division. He said partnering with Bronson Reed was holding him back from his true potential. And according to those same sources, management told him no. They told him the tag team run was working. They told him to be patient. They told him good things were coming but he needed to wait his turn. Bron Breakker is not a patient man. Bron Breakker is not someone who waits for opportunities. He's a Steiner. He takes what he wants. And if management won't give him a singles run, he'll create one himself by removing the only thing tying him to the tag division. Think about what that means. This attack wasn't a snap decision made in the heat of competition. This was premeditated. Bron went into tonight's match knowing exactly what he was going to do. He knew he was going to pull that referee out. He knew he was going to grab that chair. He knew he was going to destroy his partner in front of the world. The only question is whether management had any idea this was coming. Were they given a heads up? Did Bron tell them his plan? Or did he go into business for himself and force their hand? Because now they have no choice. Now they have to give Bron that singles run. He literally beat his way out of the tag team division. The fallout from this is going to be insane. First, Bronson Reed's injury status. Initial reports suggest he's going to be out for at least 2 months, possibly more depending on the severity of the damage to his leg. That's 2 months of television without one of Raw's most dominant forces. 2 months for that rage to build. 2 months for Bronson to heal and plan his revenge. Because make no mistake, when Bronson Reed returns, his only mission will be destroying Bron Breakker. This isn't going to be resolved with a handshake or a split decision tag match. This is blood feud territory. This is career-defining rivalry material. Second, what does this mean for Bron's immediate future? Does Adam Pearce suspend him? Fine him? Or does he capitalize on the heat and put Bron in a major singles program right away? My guess? They're going to run with this. The heat on Bron right now is nuclear. The arena wanted to tear him apart tonight. That's the kind of genuine heel heat you can't manufacture. You can't script real hatred. And Bron Breakker just earned more real hatred in 5 minutes than most heels generate in their entire careers. Smart booking says you put him against a major babyface immediately. Sami Zayn? GUSO? Someone the crowd loves who can channel their hatred of Bron into support for the hero. Third, and this is what fascinates me most, what does this betrayal say about Bron's character? Not the character he plays on television, but the actual person. Because destroying Bronson Reed wasn't necessary from a storyline perspective. He could have walked away. He could have demanded a trade to SmackDown. He could have just stopped teaming with Bronson without hospitalizing him. But he chose violence. He chose brutality. He chose to send a message that he's willing to end careers to get what he wants. That's a level of ruthlessness we haven't seen from Bron before. He's always been intense, always been aggressive, but this is sociopathic. This is calculated evil. And that evolution might make him the most dangerous heel on Raw. The comparisons to his uncle Scott Steiner's heel turn are inevitable. Big Papa Pump turned on his brother Rick and became one of the most hated men in wrestling. But even that betrayal had built up. Even that had warning signs everyone could see coming. This felt more sudden, more shocking, more violent. Bron might have actually outdone his uncle in terms of pure shock value. And in a weird way, that's the ultimate tribute to the Steiner legacy being so ruthless that you make your family's past betrayals look tame by comparison. What happens next Monday? Does Bronson Reed appear via satellite from his hospital bed? Does he cut a promo promising revenge? Or does Raw let this breathe, let the attack speak for itself, let the anticipation build until Bronson is actually cleared to return? My money is on the latter. Sometimes the best stories are told through silence, through absence. Let Bron run wild as a singles competitor for 8 weeks. Let him destroy everyone put in front of him. Let him climb to the top of Raw. And then, right when he thinks he's untouchable, right when he's convinced himself that removing Bronson was the best decision he ever made, that's when the tsunami returns. That's when 550 pounds of revenge comes crashing down on everything Bron's built. Drop your predictions in the comments right now because this is the beginning of something massive. This isn't a 3-week program that ends at the next premium live event. This is a blood feud that could main event WrestleMania if they build it right. Two legitimate monsters who know each other's every weakness, fighting with real hatred, real emotion, real stakes. Bron Breakker just started a war he might not be able to finish. And we're going to cover every single battle. Make sure you're subscribed to Ring Rumble because this story is just getting started and we'll be breaking down every development, every promo, every confrontation as it happens. We're not just recapping, we're analyzing, predicting, connecting dots that other channels miss. This is where the real conversation happens. Join us.